Hi there, David Costello here from Jetpack Workflow and Growing Your Firm podcast. Today I want to walk you through a bookkeeping process sheet. Now we like to break this up into 3 different parts and dive into the specifics so that you can then reflect, use some of the items that we're going to talk about, and then as you continue to grow your firm, optimize each part of the process sheet. Before we dive into the specifics, if you are watching this anywhere but the blog, you can always go to jetpackworkflow.com/blog. We have free interviews, articles, and certainly more videos there around retention, recruiting, social media, marketing, sales, workflow, process management, building out different profit centers, and so much more. You can always go to jetpackworkflow.com/blog to learn more. So let's dive into the bookkeeping process sheet. So the first area here is what we call the foundation. This is the area where you're going to list, of course, the job or service. You're going to list the recurrence date. You're going to list things, of course, like the client name, contact info. We even recommend putting price to client. Now, if you're doing fixed fee or value billing, this is not a big deal. This might even be public on your website already. The nice thing here is that when you go into the metric review, you already have this information right here. Then we put budgeted hours so the entire team knows what this job should take. We have the partner or owner, then we have the manager, and any additional team members as well. If you're going to be filing information on a document management system, desktop, physical files, I always like to put the file information. And then we go into target date in, target date out. So we actually have the target date out, and again, actual date out, so we can put this in here. And then we have the target turnaround date. The only information I might include in here as well, and you can see I can actually come into this Google document. I'm going to go ahead and edit this, is come into here and put a date in field in here as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually add this in right now because I think it's nice to put the date in. We have a process sheet set up where, you put the date in, you're automatically going to write in a target date out, and then you can extract what the date in was. But, I like to put things a little bit more proactive, so I'm going to put date in. So then we actually have this information, and if you want to put it in a different area, you certainly can. So then we have the due date, so maybe the recurrence is the last day of every month. We have the date in when we actually received all the information we need to complete it. Then we have the target date out, actual date out, and then the target turnaround time. So it's 5 days, it's 7 days, 10 days. We highly, highly recommend implementing and integrating a turnaround time into your system and into your workflow, into your process. It's one of the few key metrics that can really give you an understanding of your internal efficiencies, and it can tell you whether you're being productive and effective and efficient or not. Next, we're going to go into the fulfillment and processing. We have the status, and we have what we call urgency level. Some firms will call this the label stage, where you can put different labels, different statuses, different milestones. It's important to have these standardized, of course, in your firm or practice so that each team member knows which standard label or status or urgency level that they should put. And then we also have the individual tasks, the owner, and the due date. The only additional step that you could potentially have here is if you wanted to have task duration time. So if you wanted to allocate a specific amount of time per task, you can. Now, of course, this is only applicable if you have multiple team members working on a bookkeeping job. If you have one person that typically takes ownership the whole way through and then passes along to the owner to close it out, then you don't have to put that. But of course, if you have multiple team members working on it, it would be nice to put allocated time in there as well. We have an area for notes and comments, of course, so if something's missing, something needs feedback, maybe you add a status update, but there's something in context of the client that you need to put into notes, you can certainly put it here. Have a final section here for the client address or billable information. That's for time and billing. You can invoice this out. We always recommend getting payment prepaid up front if possible. If not, then getting that payment right when it's closed out during a final meeting, whether it's via phone call or in person or virtual meeting. You're really putting a nice standardized process in place for receiving payment, and including that in your process sheet, including that in your workflow is really critical, so you don't have to chase down accounts receivables all day long. And then finally, my personal favorite, the metric portion of this. This is where we take a look at budgeted versus actual hours. We look at actual turnaround time, so we could see the budgeted turnaround time. What did this actually take? We look at the internal costs that it took us by hours and internal staff rate, client price, and profit margin. So you can see that this process sheet is going to give you everything. It's going to give you of course, the foundation, the target turnaround time. Your team's going to have the tasks, and more importantly, as the owner or manager or partner, you're going to have the metrics to understand if you're hitting the growth pattern that you want to for your firm. Whether it's new clients, whether it's profit margin, internal effectiveness, or efficiencies, you can have it all inside of a single process sheet. Now, if you're interested in learning more, and like I said earlier in the video, if you're not at the blog, you can always go to jetpackworkflow.com/blog. If you're interested in automating this process, having a single place to track all of the recurring jobs inside of your firm or practice, you can always go to jetpackworkflow.com to learn a little bit more. We also have a free trial for the application as well. It comes with complimentary setup support, complimentary training, and that's at jetpackworkflow.com. Thank you so much for watching.